Well, I put off getting new tools for quite a while. I have this problem where when I get new tools, I get really excited, not only with the possibilities of all the stuff I could buy, but then when I finally narrow it down and buy something, I'm really excited to be buying it. And then I'm excited to take it home, I'm excited to try it out, I'm thinking about all the things I'll be able to do with this new tool, and then it works out so well, and the tool actually does its job so effectively that I think, oh man, what if I went ahead and bought this other tool I've been putting off, and I buy another one, and another one, and another one. Next thing you know, I'm going broke, and I've got way too many tools. So there are some tools I've had that have either broken, and I need to get around to fixing them, or they're just they're not heavy duty enough, or maybe they're too heavy duty, or maybe they're not quite right for certain jobs. Like they're kind of used in a pinch, but they don't work great. And then there's some tools I just never got around to buying. So I was talking earlier in my last video, which I just uploaded today actually, about how I've been hitting a few snags that have been making this build take too long. And I started thinking about it, and I was realizing that a lot of the issues I'm having, a lot of the snags I'm hitting, are just because I don't have the right tools. Either I never got around to buying it, or I broke it, or I lost it, or something. And not having the right tool is costing me time, and time really is money. Quite literally. I mean, the longer it takes me, the more money I'm losing on it. So, one example is the fact that for some reason here in Taiwan, you cannot buy an American-style speed square. Maybe somebody knows of some magical place in some mystical corner of this island where they sell them, but I've never seen a speed square anywhere. I've never seen anybody use one. I've never seen anybody carrying one. I've never seen in any hardware store. And when I show the pictures to guys, like tool guys, like, hey, do you have this? They look confused, like, no, I don't have that. So just doing something as simple as making a quick straight line or a quick 45-degree angle, marking on wood or metal, tends to be a pain in the ass. Well, I had gotten this, and this is adjustable for different angles, and it lets me make a line. The problem is that it's got this baby little lip, and it's got a real sensitive little screw, and it's not really good for run and gun quick markings. And because the lip is so small, on any of this square tubing that has a naturally round edge, it won't hang on, so it actually get cockeyed and give you a bad angle. Well, I was able to, it's not a speed square, but something similar. I was able to find this. This is meant for woodworking here, but it has a nice big lip, and it lets me do a real quick 45. So one of the things that had been taking me so long is I had to do a lot of 45-degree cuts on that metal, and it was just a very tedious, very time-consuming process. Finally bought this, and suddenly I got all the rest of my cuts done in a single day. The other thing was that I've not been using my air compressor. I was so excited by this air compressor. You might recall the last video, I busted my ass getting it fixed up and getting it running. And then I just didn't use it very much because most of the tools I had bought right off the bat were for working on my car, like impact wrenches and impact sockets and things like that. Up here in the workshop for metalworking, not a lot of good. So all I had was like this little air duster, and this broke. Doesn't work anymore. So without even being able to use this, I just haven't even had the thing plugged in, haven't had it running at all. Well, today I finally bought this. Nice, heavy duty metal. Shouldn't break, at least not for a long time. So that solves that problem. I was able to quickly blow out off all the floor. I can't tell you how many times I'm working with this floor being totally filthy, covered in dust from cutting and welding and everything else. Because there's tools in here, there's tools on the floor, so breaking out a broom is a pain in the ass to get around all the tools and get under everything. It's a very time-consuming process to try to sweep this area. I have a vacuum, but the vacuum is loud, and again, it's kind of tedious, a little better than the broom, but then I'm filling up the vacuum really fast. So a lot of the time I just skip it and I'm working in the filth, and that makes my clothes dirtier faster, and I'm breathing in more shit. I got this fixed, I got it replaced. All of a sudden, a quick spray and the floor is clean. So, worth it. Money well spent. Another thing I got was a small hole saw. I already had the larger ones when I was cutting the big holes in the last project, but I really needed to make these 1-inch holes for the guide rails and these weight stacks for these towers. and I was trying to drill a smaller hole and then use the that stepper bit to try to bore it out slowly, but the metal's thick enough and heavy enough that wasn't working very well, and my drill's not up to the task, and it was loud, and this was popping. Then I tried using this electric die grinder, and I've got two. Now, here it is. I've got this one, which is a 6mm. The problem is I don't have any 6mm bits. So I was like, well, I can't use this, I don't have any 6mm bits for the steel anyway. I did have a 3mm bit, which this one does, but I bent it. Because unfortunately, these being old school brushed electric ones, they work pretty well, but they vibrate quite a bit. And when you start getting into these tight little quarters, it's very easy, especially as your hand starts to fatigue, to accidentally catch it at a bad angle. And when at that speed, when it hits it at a bad angle, it just automatically bends the bit, and you're out of luck. So I was thinking, and not to mention, I keep wearing out my electric pieces. I'm either burning through the brushes, or something gets sucked into there that's messing it up, or it's just various little issues. So today, I bought a pneumatic one to use with my air compressor. Now, it wasn't until I was buying these pneumatic tools today that I was reminded of how much I love pneumatic tools. I mean, other than the obvious fact that you have to have an air compressor, and then you have to have a line attached to the tool, I can't think of any downside to pneumatic tools. I mean, they can be loud, but then again, all tools are loud. If you use an impact wrench, it's that slamming, hitting, hammering effect that's making the noise, especially in a shop. So it doesn't matter if you listen to an electric one or a pneumatic one, they're both loud. Same with drills, same with die grinders, they're all loud. So the sound isn't a problem. Then when it comes to pneumatics, there's really nothing in these things. There's really very few moving parts. So they kind of last forever. And when they finally do crap out, they're really easy to service and fix. And even if you just want to replace it, they're cheap. I mean, you could buy multiple pneumatic tools for less than the cost of a single electric tool. Like this die grinder, brand new, costs equivalent to about $20 US. Now, if I wanted to buy a corded electric die grinder with a cord attached to it that will also do 6mm chucks, that would cost me $40 US, so double the price. If I wanted to buy a battery operated one, cordless one, that's going to cost me closer to about $150 US. But for 20 bucks, I've got this thing, and it'll probably last me for a decade. And there's no vibration. I remember as a mechanic, I used to use these things all the time, and they're miraculous. They've got a lot of power. They turn incredibly fast. I think they've got more power and spin faster than their electric counterparts, and yet they're lighter weight and smaller and more maneuverable. They're just better in every way, and they're cheaper, and they last longer. I mean, I love pneumatic stuff. So then while I was buying this pneumatic stuff, I thought to myself about some other issues I've been having, and I can see this video is already getting kind of long, so without going into the whole what made me think of it or why I got it, I went ahead and also, because it was sitting right next to it and I thought of it, bought an impact. This air hammer. This air hammer is going to solve a lot of problems for me. It is going to cut down my productivity time. And it's going to make my life easier. It is going to reduce frustration. It is money well spent. And again, this thing brand new costs equivalent to about a little over $20 US. Probably last me forever. Another thing I went ahead and got while I was out, as I was saying a minute ago, I've been out of these chucks. I keep breaking these chucks on my electric die grinders. So I went ahead and bought a few replacement chucks just to have on hand for whenever I inevitably break another one. I'll have a backup, which saves me gas and time and everything else. I don't have to go out and buy another one. Then I bought this nice little wire brush for my die grinder. And again, small, lightweight, nimble little pneumatic die grinder. This tiny, small, lightweight, nimble little brush, little wire brush. This is going to make my life a lot easier. Then I even got this cool little cutoff wheel. I can put this cutoff wheel on my die grinder, And now it gives me kind of like the same that my angle grinder does, except this is a little 2-inch blade, and it's a metal blade meant for cutting metal. So it's a dry cut metal blade, meant for steel and things like that. Small, lightweight, maneuverable. I can cut it at the 90 degree. Like, I don't have to angle my hand the same way as a die grinder, or an angle grinder. This will end up going right on it, so it's perpendicular. Which again, in many situations, I wish I had it, and now I do. Money well spent, time saved. But I think I'm going to spend the rest of this night just getting these tools set up and getting this shop cleaned up and getting this place ready for getting some serious work done tomorrow, because I have already taken the better part of a week to do what is honestly about 2 days worth of work, just because I'm trying to make do without the tools that I needed. I'm trying to compensate for broken tools, or I'm trying to work in a dirty environment where I can't find something, or I gotta move something out of the way, or whatever else it is. My procrastination and my unwillingness to go out and just buy the damn tools I need has made 2 days worth of work turn into 6 days, and I'm still not done. So tonight I'm going to clean, get these tools in their proper place, and tomorrow I'm going to get some serious work done on this thing.